guys had a chance to enjoy Pro Day for a little bit. Looks like the guys did really well and showed out as far as the team here at the 2019 Oregon Ducks. We had practice number 3 yesterday. We got in pads, and certainly what we expected, a very physical day. And we worked just about every first and second down situation imaginable, in both in unit work as well as in team situations. But we put our hand in the ground up at the line of scrimmage, worked half line, worked full line 7-on-7 drills, 9-on-9 run drills, worked a lot of 5-on-4 pass rush, 2-on-2 pass rush, 1-on-1 DBs and wide receivers, 2-on-2, worked tight ends and running backs against the linebackers and safeties. We really we tested the guys yesterday and we pushed, and certainly they did a really nice job competing. That's probably the thing that stands out the most right now. Guys are really getting after it. Not perfect. We had officials out here. We had a few penalties, but certainly the physicality of it, I think, is very evident after a second year of strength and conditioning. And we came back today and, we lifted heavy. And we met and had our walkthroughs, and we have meetings tonight. And tomorrow we'll get into practice number 4 in full pads and start the day off with, and I think you guys will be here the first part of practice with, those old school, hamburger drills. I like to call them hamburger drills. I think they call them something else, right? And then we'll roll right into practice number 4, and we'll have practice number 5 on Friday before sending these guys into finals week and spring break.
Pro Day is obviously a chance for these guys individually to show out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you take a little bit of pride as a staff to kind of just help them develop them, get them to this place in their careers?
You take pride in the process that helps get them here, and then here it's the pride is in just watching them have an opportunity to fulfill this great opportunity to go and have a chance at their dreams. And watching the way these guys have developed, the way they handle themselves in front of the scouts, whether it be a question and answer period, a panel interview, certain drill work as it relates to their position group, the ball drills, some of the big guys. It was great to see Jalen and Justin hauling in a couple passes. I probably should use them as a goal line tight end, but for them just to watch what they continue to develop into and knowing that their best football is ahead of them, it's awesome. It really is.
Ugo looking, he was such a key in that nickel spot for you.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like in the NFL, that's a spot that's really, with the contract Tyrann Mathieu just signed.
Mm-hmm.
Just the fit there. What was the process of identifying him at that spot and then seeing him thrive at that spot?
Oh, that's easy. That's open your eyes, You open your eyes and you watch the way that guy, he can read and react. And, certain guys have a certain level of foot and body quickness and suddenness that is just unique. And he is that. He's one of those guys that his reactions are instantaneous and they allow him to get a step on a receiver, a beat on a quarterback trying to pull the ball and disguise it in the read run game. So Ugo has a unique skill set, and it's coupled with his ability to get back there and field punts and make big plays happen. I mean, we know that he broke a couple games open with his punt return. So the future is super bright for him. And to me, the best part is I like walking around, the outlier areas right here in the outfield and talking to the scouts and what they see and what they notice to get a gauge on how they feel about our guys. And everybody's really, really positive about our guys, about how they play the game and the way they handle themselves.
A lot of these guys are going to get a chance to play on Sunday, but what's your advice to the guys that, it might not be in the cards for them as far as just encouraging them to keep pursuing their dream?
Well, it's never a guarantee, but as long as you have an opportunity to pursue it, you pursue it as hard and as long as you can. Remember, I was that guy that chased it and got cut and went out to NFL Europe and went out to NFL Europe again. I mean, till I, was just about banned from going to a camp. That's how hard I chased it because it's the only opportunity to do it. It's not something you could let a couple years go by and then come back and do. So, yeah, as long as it's in their blood, it's in their heart, and they feel they have an opportunity to do so, we encourage it all the way. Now, at the same time, without ever compromising your academic status and, any life-changing opportunity that might come along the way, because a lot of these guys already have their diplomas in hand, and they've got some really good opportunities that they've been able to get themselves through our networking system and whatnot. So it's all positive. It's all good.
What was your pro day like?
Mine?
Yeah.
Mine was a little bit uneventful. Mine was my very last game is I had a pretty good knee injury, so I didn't participate in my senior year pro day. So I actually worked as an assistant strength coach in the weight room at the University of Miami so that I could, rehab and, be able to pay for whatever I needed to. Aside from insurance, of course, to train and get ready, and then went out for pro day the following year. A lot like Jimmy Swain did today. And then later that summer, was able to sign a rookie free agent contract with the Broncos, and that was my one shot in the NFL. and certainly not the conventional way to do so. But man, I chased it hard. I was able to have an opportunity, and I was cut by them. And even though it was painful, you know what? There's a certain sense of, you know what? I went as hard as I can to try to do it. It didn't work out. Like a storied career like Joe Salavea now. That's a beautiful NFL career, right? That is awesome. So what did I do? I went to NFL Europe. The World League at the time, and it was a great experience as well. And it really is what kind of gave me the coaching bug. So. You wanted a better story than that, didn't you?
That's a pretty good story.
You wanted a 38-inch vertical? No, man, that's not going to happen. I think it was 24 or something like that. No, you know what? I don't remember any of those numbers. So, all right, the athletic ability was all right. It was okay. So, but I'll get those numbers and we'll make it a funny story. Maybe for April Fool's Day or something.
Kale was absent yesterday. CJ's been limited a little bit. Just what are their status?
Kale got sick. Kale had a pretty high fever, so when those guys are still a little bit contagious, we keep them away, make sure they're well, get a lot of fluids in them, and hopefully get them back. I don't think we'll have them back by tomorrow. We're going to try. CJ felt a little tightness in his hamstring. We didn't want to risk anything, being that he had a little tweak last year during the course of the year, but he should be good to go. The rest of the guys, I think it's all just nicks and bumps and bruises. I didn't see anything out there that was significant, but there were some bumps and bruises now. I mean, guys went at it. Certainly when you spend all that time in the weight room gaining or making all those gains, you want to demonstrate some of that stuff in the drills that we do. So guys certainly did so, and it was physical.
Good amount of the offensive linemen were the guys who lost weight. Was that just a point of emphasis this offseason? I mean, it sounds obvious because they're so big, but I mean, sometimes they put on weight. So
yeah, there's big and there's gargantuan, and they were on the gargantuan side. To me, and Coach Mario made a huge point of it yesterday. So proud of all these guys. Justin Johnson walked in the door at 393 pounds. Yesterday was 339. Okay, and I know he's coming off the shoulder surgery, but he's moving great. Stephen Jones was in the 80 range, 380-pound range. He's now down to 350, 348, and still working his way down a little bit more. Chris Rendazzo, another guy that was up there in the 60s and 70s, he's now hitting 335 pounds, just like some nice svelte guys there, right? Panay's a 340, 344 guy, but he runs and holds it extremely well, so he stays there, and Dawson has always been a guy that has, maintained a, pretty good shape, and so we're going to leave him. He's about 315, 318.
With Mitchell now training here instead of with you guys, does that amp up the competition even more for the receivers, knowing that production is out there, somebody has to do it?
Without a doubt. I think it always does. And what do you want to see in spring? You want to see guys step up and prove it. For us, this has been a camp mentality. We've made it a big point of emphasis that spring ball here is very important. This is not a passing of the time. This is not well, let's do a few things and get ready for the fall. No, this is complete 100% camp mentality. That's the approach we're looking for. Like Coach said yesterday, Coach Mario, I said, one more day, one more rep, one more extra minute of meeting time. It's a very hungry and driven approach, and that's the way it's going to be. And it's maybe not the most popular thing out there in the rest of the country, but that's the way that we like to do things, and our guys like it. Like they want to practice a certain way so that we can play a certain way. So yeah, they're getting after it pretty good.
Does Marcus and Justin prefer to have a number one guy, or would you rather see it spread out more next year?
We like to see a lot of playmakers because, a great example is Dylan. Dylan definitely, he separated himself from the rest of the guys next year or last year, right? So what do you have to do then? You have to find ways to get him the ball. And until other guys step up, well, you're kind of, I wouldn't say relegated, but it certainly doesn't allow you to open up the offense like you want to. Then can you blame yourself for getting the ball to a guy that's going to produce 1,000-plus yards and lead the Pac-12 in receptions? Hard to say that you wouldn't do that. So, but we would rather be able to spread it out. And there were moments last year when we did. We need to get back to that. We're capable of doing that. They're working really hard. Coach Bo, Coach Kraus, Coach Arroyo, they're all working really, really hard, working overtime with those wide receivers to make sure that, we're going to line up the right way, we're going to run the right routes, we're going to play with physicality, and we're going to catch the ball. We're going to come down with it no matter what. So, yeah, and I think also the fact that we have, at least one new guy on campus, right? We have another guy coming on campus here in a little bit. There'll be some more faces. It's time. It's time, and they know that, and they know that we're pushing forward and demanding it of it for the right reasons, and they want it of themselves. So it's a good matchup.
Just a couple of rules change proposals. Wanted to get your thoughts on. One's this change of the blindside block, where they're almost trying to take it out of the game, almost like no forcible contact exactly. So it it's kind of a little bit strange. As an offensive line guy, I wanted your take on that, and then the targeting rule changes they're talking about.
Yeah, well, we kind of got tagged. It ended up being a targeting call on Jake. You guys remember last year on the reverse. So I can see what's trying to be done in terms of player safety. I think that's always important. We just have to take a deep dive into it at conference meetings and get just all the little nuggets, the bits and pieces that, the intricacies of this and the details of this, because it's a game changer now. In the middle of a big play like that one right there, you could have a play called back and may cost you a game. So, yeah, certainly I think it's for the right reasons. I would just, we don't have all the exact details that we would need to really
You
come.
know, like the progressive penalty on the targeting, where if you're a multi-time offender, you're getting an additional game. So if you get called for targeting twice in a season, you would miss an entire following week.
Yeah,
Is
well,
the proposal?
I understand it. I think if it's malicious intent as a player, I think there's some validity to that. I also think that football is a game of angles and speed and power, and sometimes those things that, when you have .17 seconds to make a reaction that's going to prevent a penalty, I think that's hard sometimes too. So I know it's subjective and there's discretion involved here. So I think after the conference meetings, I'll have a much better just feel for how to respond to a question like that.
Dimitri Birch announced his transfer yesterday. Just a response to that. Tough to see people leave your program.
I think I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't. I think, look, every time there's a student athlete here, we're going to work as hard as humanly possible to make it work for them. That's our job. That's our obligation. And that's the way it should be. And if it doesn't work out for somebody, or there's a personal need back home, you got to support that 100%. And to me, that's nothing but an opportunity to help someone go achieve what they need to achieve somewhere else. And you know what? If you did things the right way, there's never any hard feelings about that. There's nothing but, hey, how can I help you? Or, hey, coach, can you help me do something like that? And that's the kind of relationship it is. So, no, absolutely no. We think it's hey, that's the best thing for him. We're certainly going to support it and make it happen.